Thank you for listening to the Pearls and Swine podcast. I seek to bring hope and healing to those suffering under toxic leadership in the home or in the workplace. If you find my podcast helpful, please comment on it or rate it. Now enjoy this installment on the Pearls and Swine podcast. Recently, a fellow author and researcher shared an article with me written critically of his work in the area of toxic leadership. There was one paragraph that was fundamental to the journalist's criticism. It said, "In Sweden, trust in the immediate manager is at a record high. Almost 7 out of 10 professionals between the ages of 21 and 65 have a great deal of trust in their immediate manager. 58% also agree that they have a great deal of trust in their company's management team." This is good and bad news. The writer's view is that my friend was much too critical of leadership. In essence, the criticism was based on the journalist's view that the researcher found a toxic leader under every rock. When my friend and I talked about it, we shared a laugh, and this is why. Clearly, according to the survey, the study done in Europe, where my friend is professor of working life science at the University of Agder and editor of multiple important international works on leadership, bad leadership is not under every rock. Only 42% of those surveyed don't trust their company's management team. The way you frame that statistic makes all the difference. Will you allow me to interpret that statistic as saying bad leadership is not under every rock, but nearly every other one? This reminds me of the criticism leveled at the many bloggers and researchers who are bringing to light toxic leadership in Christian organizations by a seminary professor several years ago, and I wrote about him in an earlier blog. I would like to share some further statistics that might help frame this important debate. According to the Toxic Workplace, 64% of those who responded to a survey were working with a toxic personality, and 94% had experienced a toxic boss. According to Balda, approximately 1/3 of workers in the U.S. have been bullied at work, and 3/4 of those were bosses. The Star-Telegram conducted an investigation that uncovered at least 412 allegations of sexual misconduct in 187 independent fundamentalist Baptist churches and other affiliated institutions spanning 40 states and Canada. Nearly 1 in 5 workers, the study calls disturbingly high, say they face a hostile or threatening environment at work, which can include sexual harassment and bullying. Depending on the estimation method, between 33% and 61% of all respondents of a Gallup poll report that their immediate superiors as showing some kind of consistent and frequent destructive leadership during the last 6 months. Finally, it is estimated that approximately the same percentage of psychopaths run corporations as are incarcerated in our prisons. A book called Mean Men took a poll of 800 managers and employees in 17 industries and found the following things. You see, toxic leadership is costly financially, spiritually, and personally. This poll found that 48% intentionally decreased their work effort. 47% intentionally decreased the time they spent at work because of toxic leadership. 38% intentionally decreased the quality of their work. 80% lost work time worrying about the incident. 63% lost work time avoiding the offender. 78% said that their commitment to the organization declined. 12% said they left their jobs because of the uncivil treatment. The book also noted that toxic managers turn away talented potential employees. The annual cost of toxic leadership in the Department of Defense is $4.7 billion. $4.7 billion. One of my interviewees years ago explained the impact her toxic pastor had on her as an employee. She described migraines and sleepless nights. It took years for her to heal from the experience. Others of my interviewees have either left the church or are inhabiting the margins due to their distrust after having faced such horribly abusive church leaders. So these toxic leaders may not be under every rock, but there sure are a lot of them. Thanks for listening today. My name is Kelly Dainert, and I write and produce these podcasts. The music you just heard is called Finally, a song I wrote, and it was performed by Mingoli, an African ensemble from Malawi, of which I directed. Please rate my podcast if you found it helpful. It will help get the word out to others. Have a great day.